Hi guys, it's Michael from Soapbox. Um, Today we're going to do a little introduction to Ableton, and we're going to talk about audio versus MIDI. Now, audio and MIDI, they're two formats that um, come in all DAWs. For those who don't know what that stands for Digital Audio Workstation. Um, So yeah, they're just two formats that you would use in Logic, Ableton, Pro Tools, or whatever software that you are um, using. Um, but in Ableton audio, you can do a lot. So MIDI stands for audio. No, sorry, MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. And what it is basically, it's just information, literally, that allows you to, trigger any kind of virtual instrument. So, an example I'm going to use here of how you can use MIDI is by using a drum rack. Now, drum rack's very useful. It comes in this weird kind of format of like an old school MPC with drum pads and stuff. So we're just gonna go ahead and produce a very just simple kind of drum track. So I'm just gonna go here, flick through some sounds. So let's just use that. I'm also gonna drag in the audio here so we can compare them later on in this tutorial. Yeah, let's just use like maybe 3 instruments. So I'm gonna drag this in, and maybe use this. So I'm just gonna oh, sorry, made a little small mistake. So I'm gonna take this clap. Also gonna drag one here, and there's a little shaker sound I had, which is quite nice. I think it was that. So we're gonna use that as well. And what we're gonna do is just basically make a drum beat using MIDI and make the same drum beat using audio, because you could work in both formats, especially when it comes to drums. And I think it's important to find out what you're most comfortable with. So we're just going to go ahead and insert a MIDI clip into the drum rack. So to do that, you could press Shift, Command, and M, as you can see here, or you can just right click and or highlight what you want first, then right click, and then it comes up in the menu. You select it, then it comes up. So it's going to literally compose simple beat. Now, when it comes to MIDI programming, you have the grid. I'm going to go ahead and switch mine to quarter note. Obviously, there's 4 beats in a bar. So what that will show is the basically every single beat, it will show it, and it won't show anything more or less. So we're just going to go ahead and speed up the tempo. So yeah, guys, this is your tempo, and that's to like speed up the track, choose how fast it is. We're just going to go on and click. I believe this is the click. Also, to monitor your MIDI, make sure the blue headphones are on, so that when you hit a note, you can hear it. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of just place a note on every kind of quarter note, And what we're going to do as well is going to duplicate this for the rest of the MIDI thing. So to also just do what I just did, duplicating it, you just highlight everything and press Command D. Ableton also copies spaces as well as the actual notes. So if you highlight, you know, a bar and then press Command D, it will copy that bar symmetrically to what you had in the previous bar. So this is what we end up with. So it's going to go on and put, you know, now I'm going to switch the grid to the 8th note. So again, just for efficiency, we're going to just take that little snippet there and copy it. Now I wanted to take a really close look at the drum rack because it's quite, you know, useful. If you go into classic here, you can control the envelopes of the drum rack. So attack means, you know, how long it takes the sound to come in. So if I raise it up, you know, you can see it's taking longer for that hit to take place. Decay is how long it takes the sound to, well, end, you know. But because you have sustain all the way up, it's sustaining the sound, so you're not really going to hear the decay. So if I take it down, see, you just get this. And this is very useful, especially, you know, in a situation like this where you've got a very long kick sample and you just want the initial hit and not the bass. Now, let's do the same thing here. Let's say I don't like that reverb, I could just you also have pitch here and controls. So by hitting the transpose knob and raising it up, you pitch up the clap. Also you got volume here, it seems a bit loud. But what I like to do is kind of turn down the gain instead of the volume. And that's because this, you know, this sample seems normalized. So what that means is that the, you know, all the highest point of the audio file has kind of been pushed up to 0, and I don't really kind of want to go near that point. So like if you were making a track, that would make it harder later on during mixing. You know, you might get distortion, you know, less headroom and stuff like that. But those are stuff we will get into possibly later tutorials or actual sessions. So as you can see here, we produce a simple house beat or whatever, and we use the envelopes to edit our sound. I'm also going to take this kick drum and I'm going to filter it. So, you know, if you use your filters, and by hitting controls here, you can actually get a bigger view of your filter. Kind of do the same thing here, but I'm going to use a high pass filter and take out the low frequencies at that clap. Possibly maybe use a band pass filter just to there you go. Now that's MIDI, you know, and as I was saying, you know, MIDI is really flexible. Really flexible. Like if I literally wanted to, you know, change the sound, like let me say I wanted to get another kick. Like kick 14. Say I wanted that kick instead. I could literally just change it. You know, whereas audio, if you were to do this, you might have to go in, delete the audio, and then change every single audio clip. So again, what I'm going to do with all of these, so you can highlight all of them literally, and it bring up the the little kind of audio, compartment like here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take down the gain of all of these because I don't think I highlight the top one. I'll do that because again, they're all normalized samples, and they're just like really loud. So we're gonna literally do the same thing, but just with audio. Same drum beat. So I'm gonna change my grid to a quarter note. So what we're gonna do is literally just by using these fades, you can kind of shorten the sample like we did, or shorten the decay of the sample like we did in the drum rack. So audio, with the audio we have algorithms which I'll probably get into maybe during the sessions or another tutorial, but you could also pitch. So I'm gonna pitch this down by 3 example, and I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate that. Do the same for my clap. Just gonna take the decay down again. So remember before it was this, but just by shortening the sample and adding a fade, you get a little shorter clap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this space here along this clap and just copy. And yeah, now it's just really this. So I'm going to change it to 8th note. Maybe pitch it down or something. Maybe make it a bit more snappy as well. So just by adding a fade. And yeah, just highlight that space and copy ahead. So let's compare the two. Like MIDI has way more flexibility, but I think there's a way of changing the actual samples in audio by going into manage files. And by doing that, you should be able to replace the audio files. I just need to remember how. Here. So literally, let's do that again. Go manage files, manage set, view files, and it will show you your samples. So for example, this is the kick. If I want to swap it out with another kick, let's say I wanted that nice kick 14 that I replaced it with in a drum rack. I could just type kick 14, double click, and now we have kick 14 there instead. So Ableton is really flexible. A lot of programs don't really are not really friendly when it comes to exchanging audio clips. But Ableton is it allows you to do that easily. But in general, MIDI is, it's more flexible. So yeah, that's just a breakdown of audio and MIDI in Ableton. So yeah, guys, hope that was helpful, and I'll see you later, and make sure to attend our sessions for more information and a kind of deeper analysis into Ableton.